start again. It's a Redskin.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we had a game against the Atlanta Hawks in which the Chicago Bulls wasted a massive opportunity to beat this Atlanta Hawks team without Trae Young and without DeAndre Hunter, and try to solidify themselves and climb the table in terms of the play-in tournament. Now, this game comes with good news and bad news, of course. The good news is, before this game, the Bulls actually qualified for the play-in tournament. I think Orlando lost the game in this timeout that allowed the Bulls to qualify. So we are in the play-in tournament. That's great news. Obviously, we wanted to be in there, and the Bulls, by hook or by crook, got the job done in that department. We are in the play-in tournament. Now we can decide what we want to do for the rest of our roster. Are we going to climb the table? Are we going to stay where we are and hope we can ride it through? I don't know what the Bulls are going to do, but it is great news that we obviously qualified into that play-in tournament. However, there's bad news as well. The Bulls lost the game pretty badly, and at the same time, if there was any opportunity to climb that Eastern Conference, you got to beat a team that's put in front of you like the Atlanta Hawks, a team that is above you ever so slightly, and you had a chance to overtake them, or at least make this a closer battle to what it already is. And the Bulls did not get the job done. And there are certain things that were said after the game that I just can't sit by and let slide, in my opinion. There are certain things that were said that really pissed me off. And we'll discuss all of that in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to The Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and what did you think of this game against the Atlanta Hawks. We lost this game 123 to 105. Again, when I look at this game, I look at the Bulls being second class all night long. That's how I truly felt. We were never really out of the game. We kept on, we were always in, I guess, distance of the Atlanta Hawks. We were able to go on runs and make it an entertaining game in some areas. But for the most part, Atlanta were the better team, played the better offense, played the better defense, played more as a team than the Chicago Bulls. And at the end of the day, you just kind of saw a lot of, I guess, Atlanta dominating in the paint against the Chicago Bulls team. Now, again, I don't expect the Bulls to win every game. I still understand and fully, I guess, identify what this team is. This team is not a championship team. We are not going to, all of a sudden, with one acquisition of Patrick Beverley, switch from a team that could barely get into the play-in to all of a sudden beating every single team possible. And we've seen that already, but now, again, losing to this Atlanta Hawks side, we already know that. We're not a team that's just going to transform everything about our game. Our weaknesses, even though if they're not big weaknesses now, are still our weaknesses. This game reminded me a lot of the beginning of the season, when the Bulls would go on a ridiculously bad run in the first half, and then they had to scratch and claw and compete and fight just to get in the game. And all of that effort that they put in to try and getting into the game, by the time the game is over, the Bulls have wasted all their energy and we couldn't get the job done. We couldn't go the distance. Against Memphis, we went the distance. We went all the way back. With Atlanta, again, we didn't. And you can't expect them to do that. You can't expect to go down 20-odd points every single game and expect the Bulls to come back every single game. The NBA, as much as everybody says a lead is never safe, well, to be honest, if you're going to keep on doing that, you're going to expect more losses than wins. Simple as that. So that's a big reason why we lost today. We went on another bad start, another bad 2 quarters, and we tried to come back and we simply failed. That is a big reason why we lost. Of course, our 4th quarter was not very good either, so I can't really sit here and say it was a game of 2 halves. It's more of a game of, you know, the Bulls had an okay 2nd and 3rd quarter and then just got destroyed in the 1st and 4th quarters. Those types of things. But, again, I can't expect the Bulls to win every game. That alone did not piss me off. But the quotes that came out after the game, and look, I had the luxury of looking at these quotes. I watched the game live. 10 a.m. for me. Watched that game live, went to uni, was even watching the game at uni. That's how much interest I had in this game. Sorry to the lecturers if you're watching this, I doubt you are. But yes, I was watching the game during the class. Anyway, what pissed me off is that obviously this video can be recorded at any time I want afterwards, and I got to look at the quotes. And one quote really pissed me off, and it was Zach LaVine's quote. Now again, Zach LaVine has been phenomenal for the Chicago Bulls recently, and he had a great game this time out as well. But he said something that I never, ever want to hear from a Chicago Bulls team that is trying to compete for something. And basically the quote was along the lines of, I think they wanted it more than us. basically suggesting that Atlanta wanted to win more than us. Now look, we can all admit it, we can all see it on the court, of course they did, we know that, but to hear a Chicago Bulls player that played in that game against the Atlanta Hawks basically admit that we didn't want it more is, in my opinion, I went berserk. I couldn't believe that quote. I don't understand how you could sit here as an NBA player and come out and say the other team wanted it more than you. You've been talking about how this Bulls team needs to play it like a Game 7 every single game. Every single game is a Game 7. You got to treat it as such. It's desperation mode. I've heard all of these quotes from the Chicago Bulls players, from DeMar to Zach to everybody on this team, Billy Donovan included. And to sit here and say that the other team wanted it more than you, when you've been preaching that every game is a Game 7, is ridiculous to me. And it pissed me off, I can't lie. It really did piss me off. And it's not just Zach LaVine, it's the whole Bulls team. If Zach LaVine is reflecting on what this whole Bulls team is feeling, then the whole Bulls team, in my opinion, should be embarrassed with that quote, and they all have to take responsibility for Zach LaVine saying something like that. It's idiotic in my opinion, and I cannot believe that another team would want it more than the Chicago Bulls, or not even that. I could believe more teams wanted it than the Chicago Bulls. I can't believe the Bulls players will actually come out and say that they did not want it. I've not heard any great player in the NBA ever say the other team wanted it more than us. I've never heard Michael Jordan say something like that. The other team wanted it more than me. In my opinion, that relentless drive that Michael Jordan had is the whole reason why the Bulls won any championships in general. And the whole team followed suit because of that. No team wanted it more, or no player wanted it more than Michael Jordan. And even the ones that can admit that Michael Jordan wanted it more would never say it publicly, in my opinion. And they would continue to have those battles and that mentality in their hearts that they would want it more than a guy like Michael Jordan. Never heard Kobe Bryant say something like that. Never heard LeBron James. A lot of people hate LeBron James. Never ever heard LeBron James say something like that. The other team wanted it more than him. If I heard him say the Golden State Warriors wanted the championship more than LeBron, even if it was true, I don't think he would ever say something like that, because deep down, LeBron would want the championship the most in his heart of hearts, and he would believe that. So, again, I just think it's a really bad thing to say. I think it shows the mentality of the team. And yes, I understand. We came off a great game against Memphis. We've won a lot of games recently. I understand that. And this is by no way discrediting the team for the hard work they put in the second half of the season. But if that's really how this Bulls team feels, then how can I sit by and support a team that doesn't want it enough? How can anybody sit by and watch that team and say, I support that team even though they don't want it? And stuff like that. Well, look, I support this team, but I can't support that comment. I do not appreciate that comment, and it should never ever be said publicly, in my opinion, even though deep down you might feel it's true. Again, it's an embarrassing comment to make, and it doesn't reflect well on the entire team. So how can a Bulls fan look at that quote, even if you think it's true, and defend that quote, saying, yeah, you know what, this Bulls team didn't want it. It's okay. Love him or hate him, we didn't want it. We didn't play hard enough. The other team wants it more than us. That's alright. If we have any ambition to compete for a championship, do you think the Milwaukee Bucks team, you think Giannis is going to come out and say they wanted it more than us? In a Game 7 situation, or they wanted it more than us? I don't like that quote. And look, maybe it has been said in the past, but I'll criticize anybody that says it. I don't like that quote. And it reflects ridiculously badly on the team. And I spent 8 minutes talking about a damn quote, but that quote really pissed me off. I did not enjoy looking at that and saying, that's really what our excuse is. They wanted it more than us. This is our home turf. This is a game that means the world to the Chicago Bulls. And you don't show up to play for the game. That's a you problem. That's a Zach LaVine problem. That's a Chicago Bulls problem. That's a coaching problem. And the fans have to sit there and take that. And I don't think many Bulls fans are going to want to take that, in my opinion. You always got to show up and want it. You can have a bad night. You can lose in a competitive game in which it was back and forth, ridiculously hard, and you lose a game. Fair enough. You're allowed to lose a game in the NBA. No team is invincible. Even the Chicago Bulls teams of old were not invincible. But at the end of the day, to sit here and say that is just, it is what it is, I guess. I need to move on. I'm going to end that game reaction here. But before I go, couple of players I want to talk about. Alex Caruso with 19 points and 19 minutes, 0 points. Not good enough. I apologize. Again, if you play a massive amount of minutes like that, you need to have some sort of offense. And this is why I target Patrick Beverley in the same light as well. Because when they have games like that, inconsistent as it may be, you're contributing nothing on the offensive end. And that's a big part of why we lost today. Ayo Dosunmu, 18 minutes, 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds. Pretty much little to no contribution to the team. On the offensive end, I would say at least. Not good enough. I love Ayo. I still think he's going to be a Chicago Bull next season, despite what anybody else says. That is ridiculously bad by Ayo Dosunmu, ridiculously bad by Alex Caruso, and I wanted to target them out because I don't want to just make it look like it's a whole Bulls team. Everybody sucked and everything like that. Zach LaVine had a great game. DeMar had a solid game. Vucevic was good in this game as well. Guys like Patrick Beverley actually had good games. Kobe was disappointing. Patrick Williams was solid. There were good and bad moments in this team, and respective players played good or badly. But I don't want to sit here and just say all of the Bulls need to take more responsibility than somebody else. There are clearly other guys that just really let the team down today as well, and I think they need to be mentioned. So that's it, man. That is it. Look, we're in the playing tournament, so a lot of people will be happy regardless. This game might not mean much for many people. Our next game's against the Milwaukee Bucks. Back-to-back scenario. I don't expect the Bulls to win this game in all honesty. But again, the Bulls can surprise us. And maybe they'll actually come out and say, we wanted it more than the Bucks next game if they win. Maybe that's what they'll say. But yeah. I'm sorry if it's a dumb comment. It's a dumb statement to make. And I don't know how anybody can defend that comment. I really can't. Even if it's true. And I know it's true. I know the Bulls didn't want it more than Atlanta. Stacey King said it in the game as well. But there's a difference between a Bulls player saying something like that and a Bulls analyst or commentator saying it as well. That's what he sees on the court. That's what he is saying when he sees these things. Zach LaVine to admit it as well. Again, I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. I did not enjoy listening to that. Hopefully you guys understand. If you don't understand, I guess it's just me. It's all in my head. Maybe this Bulls team is finally driving me a little bit insane. I'm not too sure. But anyway, we'll move on. And I'll see you in the next game reaction against the Milwaukee Bucks. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.